Hi guys, Samantha here from Doing the Breast I Can, and this is my very first video, and this is a vlog that I'm creating to document my struggles with breastfeeding. I'm overcoming trauma. When I was 15, I had a breast reduction, and I can lactate, but I'm not lactating enough to actually support and grow my young son. I have an 18-week-old boy and an 11-year-old boy, and I wanted to create this vlog to encourage women, whether you didn't breastfeed at first and now you're wanting to start relactation and breastfeed your child, whether you had trauma as I had from surgery, augmentation, or reduction, whether you want to produce more milk, or you just have a low supply, or you're pumping exclusively. Hopefully something on this channel will speak to you and help you in that journey, and you will be able to get something from this. And that's really all that I care about, is documenting this for my own purposes, as well as encouraging women and empowering women who are struggling with breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is 100% natural and 100% free if it happens right. If it doesn't, it can be expensive and a nightmare, and you can end up putting a lot of energy into something. So you have to be committed. If you're wanting to relactate or increase your supply, you have got to be committed to this. This is not to be taken lightly. But on the flip side, formula is so expensive. I know that my son's formula, because I do have to supplement, it's $17 for a small can, and he goes through a can plus a week. And on a fixed income, I'm still on maternity leave. On a very fixed income or a large family, you can't always afford formula. And if you are formula feeding your child, no shame. I do not judge. I formula fed my first child, and I have regretted that. But it's just, every woman has to make her own decision for how to feed her baby. This is just what I want to do with my child. I feel like I was robbed the breastfeeding relationship with my first son due to misinformation and feeling like I didn't have anybody to advocate for me. I didn't have anybody on my team that was saying, yes, you've had trauma to your breast, you have been sliced open, but you can do this if you are committed. And I am very committed now. This time around, I'm much more of an advocate for myself, for my son, and as a mother. And I want to do this. So that is what this channel is about, and I hope that you find something on this channel that you can use. A little bit of backstory as to what my situation is. When I was 15 years old, I was bursting out of a double G breast, and I could barely stand. I couldn't walk for long periods of times. I had grooves in my shoulders from the weight of the bra pulling down onto my skin and displacing fat there. And you could literally see where my bra had been. And I was miserable. I had low self-confidence. I hated myself. I was suicidal. I was cutting. I was depressed. And I literally hated myself. And a lot of that had to do with these ginormous breasts. No clothes could fit me right. I wore men's baggy shirts. And so I was 15 years old in the spring break of 15, which was my freshman year in high school. I had a medically necessary breast reduction. I went from my double G cup, which was the biggest bra I could find, I was still coming out of that, down to a B cup. And I was also diagnosed with basically elephantitis of the breast. As you can see, I am not a B cup anymore. I am a double D, maybe larger, depending on the size, so, or brand, depending on the brand. And it has not been easy, even now, to find bras that fit, especially nursing bras. And I couldn't imagine what my life would be like had I not had that surgery. So I'm very grateful that I had the surgery. I'm very grateful that it was successful and that I was able to regain what last bit of childhood I had left My breast came in the 5th grade. I was a woman before 6th grade. I was a C cup. And for a young developing mind, you know, I was getting catcalled by adults. I was getting hit on by grown men. And it was very hard. It was very hard. So I'm very thankful that I had the surgery. I do not regret the surgery. I do, however, wish more care had been taken in the manner of the cuts. But this was 15 years ago. I'm 30 now. The medical advances have come a long way, and it is not usually a problem anymore for women to breastfeed once they've had surgery. Even augmentation, even if you want to get larger breasts, usually you can still breastfeed after. However, the way that they cut me 15 years ago, it severed a lot of nerve endings. It took out a lot of milk ducts and the capillaries that feed the nipple. My nipples were off my body for a little while. So I definitely am thankful for the surgery, but I am not thankful for all the trouble I'm having now. I have an 8-week-old son, and I have tried several things, which I will do other videos about. I've tried supplementation, I've tried medication, I've tried power pumping, I have tried, you know, a pumping schedule. I tried to feed him. I thought I could. I had him in the hospital, and I offered him the breast for 3 days and took him to the doctor, and he hadn't peed or pooped since birth, and he hadn't gained any weight. In fact, he had lost 9% of his body weight, which is not good, and it is almost to the point of considered failure to thrive. So I was killing my son. I would have killed my son, starved him to death, had I not started supplementing with formula. There is no shame in supplementing your breast milk, whether it's personal choice or necessity. Do what you have to feed your baby. I was devastated, however. I had thought for 9 months that I was going to have this beautiful breastfeeding relationship with my son, that I was going to, you know, get to stare down at his little face while he did what was 100% natural for him and I, and that I was confident that my body would do what it needed to do to feed my child. But it didn't. My body doesn't know what it's doing, and I'm gonna either have to teach it or eventually give up, and I'm hoping it doesn't come to that, but it may, and I'm prepared for that. It's gonna hurt, but until that time, I'm gonna keep trying, and I want you all to be here as I go through this journey, and maybe I can help you on your journey, or educate you a little more about breastfeeding, or how to breastfeed, or the challenges of breastfeeding. So once again, I just want to thank you for joining me on this page, and I hope that I can, you know, document this and stick to it, and maybe in a few months I will be nursing my son successfully, and I won't have to supplement anymore. I do supplement currently with formula and donor milk. I have a wonderful friend who donated some milk to me, so he does get some breastfeeding, and he does still suckle at the breast a little, but he doesn't really get very much from me. Milliliters, never ounces, but I continue to try. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next video.